On April 7, 2003, over Baghdad, Captain Kim Campbell's A-10 was hit by enemy fire. It lost both hydraulic systems. By normal standards, that should have ended the mission, and probably the aircraft. Instead, she flew it back using manual reversion and landed it. That is the kind of story that made the A-10 more than just another attack jet. It became known as an aircraft that could take damage, keep working, and bring its pilot home. And that is exactly why its retirement is still such a divisive question. The A-10 was designed around one mission: close air support. That means helping troops on the ground, finding targets, staying nearby, and striking with enough precision and persistence to matter in a fight that changes by the minute. The jet was built to do that in a way few aircraft could. Its wide stance gives it stability. Its straight wings help it loiter low and slow. Its armor protects the pilot and vital systems. And its 30mm GAU-8 cannon is not a side feature. It is part of the aircraft's identity. For a generation of pilots and ground troops, the A-10 became more than a machine. It became a promise. If the situation got ugly, something heavy, durable, and brutally simple could show up and help. That reputation was not built in a showroom. It came from real operations, real deployments, and decades of service in places where the aircraft's strengths mattered. The A-10 became associated with tank killing, convoy protection, and troops in contact. It was the kind of aircraft people trusted because they had seen what it could do. That is also why any discussion about retiring it gets emotional fast. This is not just about replacing an old jet. It is about replacing a role people still believe is unfinished. The Air Force, though, sees the same airplane through a different lens. From its point of view, the battlefield has changed. Modern air defenses are denser. Future fights are expected to be faster, more contested, and less forgiving. An aircraft that thrives when it can fly low and slow is not automatically the best answer in a high-threat environment. That is the core of the argument against keeping the A-10 at the center of the force. It is survivable in some conditions, but not invincible. It is effective in some missions, but not universal. And it is old enough that keeping it going takes time, money, and maintenance effort that could go elsewhere. That is where the retirement debate becomes more than nostalgia. If the Air Force keeps an aircraft alive because people love it, that is not strategy. If it retires an aircraft before the replacement force can truly cover the mission, that is not good planning either. The question is not whether the A-10 is iconic. It clearly is. The question is whether iconic still equals necessary. Part of the problem is that the answer changes depending on the kind of war you are imagining. Slow speed is useful when you need time over the battlefield. It is dangerous when enemy systems can reach farther and react faster. That tension sits at the heart of the A-10 story. It is a plane designed for one era, still being judged in another. And yet the aircraft refuses to become a simple historical footnote. The reason is that the A-10 still represents a very specific idea of air power. It is not about stealth. It is not about multi-role flexibility. It is not about being the best at everything. It is about being extremely good at one difficult job. That kind of design has a certain honesty to it. It does not pretend to be a Swiss Army knife. It is a hammer. And when the mission feels like nails, people remember why hammers matter. The retirement fight is also a story about identity inside the Air Force itself. Different generations look at the same aircraft differently. Some see a trusted tool that saved lives and proved its worth repeatedly. Others see a legacy platform that consumes attention the service wants to spend on newer systems. That divide is why the A-10 debate has lasted so long. It is not just technical. It is cultural. The aircraft has supporters in the cockpit, in Congress, and on the ground. It also has critics who believe that sentiment can delay necessary change. In 2026, the debate became even scarce when the Air Force extended some A-10 service through 2030. That is not a clean ending. It is a pause, a compromise, and a signal that the aircraft still has utility, even as the service tries to phase it down. Those kinds of decisions tell you something important. The Air Force is not saying the A-10 is obsolete in every sense. It is saying that the aircraft's value must be weighed against the future force structure. That is a different statement, and it is one reason this topic still works now. The story is not over. It is in transition. To understand the full argument, you also need to look at what the A-10 has already done. This was never a glamorous aircraft in the way people think of fighters. It was built to protect soldiers, not to dominate in air-to-air combat. Its value was measured in presence, patience, and toughness. That mattered when troops needed a jet that could remain close and respond quickly. It mattered when the battlefield demanded a plane that could absorb punishment and still bring its pilot home. That is why the A-10 developed such a loyal following. It was not admired from a distance. It was depended on. That distinction matters. There is a difference between a plane people like and a plane people need. The A-10 became the rare aircraft that could claim both. That is why its retirement generates such strong reactions. People are not only defending metal and engines, they are defending a memory of battlefield reliability. They are defending the idea that some missions are too important to be diluted into a broad compromise. Still, the Air Force's logic should not be ignored. A military service has to prepare for the war it expects, not only the war it remembers. That is where modernization arguments become serious. The service wants aircraft that can survive in more hostile environments, connect with newer networks, and carry out multiple roles. That is not a fad. It is a response to how air warfare is changing. The question is whether the A-10 should be left behind because it cannot fit that future, or whether the future is being written too narrowly by planners who underestimate the value of a specialized platform. This is why the strongest version of the story is not the A-10 is great or the A-10 is outdated. That is too simple. The real story is that both statements can be true depending on the mission. The aircraft is exceptional at a narrow task. It is less suited to a more contested battle space. That makes the retirement decision more complicated, not less.